Okay, I haven't done a video teaching for a while, and some things are coming up in the lives of people around me, and I feel like it is time for me to address some of these things. I must begin with something that I've said in teachings before. That is, God makes all things possible. So the potential that is available to us is the potential, meaning the all, every possible occurrence, every possible scenario is available always in this moment, in the now, okay? I have spoken about frequencies in other videos and energy and how that works. All things are possible in every moment provided us by God. We are worthy and entitled to anything we choose as children of God. The divine in us attracts different situations or occurrences to us based on the energy we are holding or the frequency we reside within in this experience. Okay? Moments when we are aligning to a frequency which is more benevolent or loving, we tend to attract more loving experiences. If we look at this life as an opportunity for continuous learning without end, constant, eternal learning, we must understand that if we are having a day where we are aligning to love, we will attract more loving forms of learning. It doesn't mean that we will not have situations that we will learn from. That is part of why we are here, is the experience of learning, okay? Of growing. It is the experience of seeing or understanding ourselves as something separate from God or something outside of God. None of that is true, but that is the experience that we are in as long as we are here, okay? So another thing I will say is all things happen for our highest good. That is true. Even the things that seem like they are difficult, even the things that seem unpleasant. It is hard sometimes to see things in this way. But in this life of learning experience, in this plane of learning, different situations will occur. Things will come into our lives. The only choice we have, and this is what free will is, the only choice we have is what we do with what occurs in our experience, what comes into our personal world, okay? So the free will choice is, do I align with love, which also means, do I see, hear, think, and do with Christ, in alignment with Christ, or will I align with fear? That is what free will is. It is the one choice. The one choice. Why I say that is, in this place, in this experience, we are a collective. Every individual, every soul, if you wish, every ego at work within this plane on an individual level adds to the experiences we are all having, okay? We as a collective, as a body of individuals, put a little bit of energy into a pool which, if you're thinking of it in forms of color, if you know anything about artistry and color, let's say I'm a golden color, and I have, if the whole pool was determined by me, it would be golden. Okay, I bring someone else in because I have agreed to this, and we all have. Every one of us here have agreed to have this experience with everyone else here before we even came. Okay, so my pool, if it was all about me, would be golden. I bring someone else in, and they add white. Their color is white, and they add white to it. Well, what happens to the golden? It becomes a little bit brighter, a little bit lighter, right? We bring someone else in who adds a little bit of blue, and what happens? The pool turns almost like a murky green, okay? So as we continue to, on an individual level, add to the pool that is the collective experience, the experiences shift and change. And we are all still partaking of the same pool. Okay, we're still drinking that same pool, and we agreed to it before we came. The agreement is, these things are going to happen. I'm going to experience what you experience, at least from this perspective, because I have agreed to do this with you. This was a collaborative effort. This was a collaborative experiment experience, okay? And we agreed with everyone else on this planet. So remember, the person that's pissing you off, you have agreed to be here with that person. So if you know that, you must also understand before you came here, you loved that person because you chose to take part in this experience, okay? So all things happen for our highest good. I'm going to use the scenario of the flat tire, and I've used this before, okay? Driving down the road, get a flat tire. There was somewhere we had to be at a specific time, but we got a flat tire, and so now we aren't going to make the deadline that we held within our mind, right? Our mind said it must be this time, it must happen this way, and now that's not going to happen. Now we have a flat tire. Okay. We can choose to see that as the blessing that it is, or we can choose to see it as the stumbling block, as in Christian terminology, okay? I choose to see it as, this is an occurrence that's in the field of potential. This is what is happening. What do I want to do with it? How can I, in this situation, still align with Christ and with love? What is the way that I can successfully have that experience in alignment with love or with Christ? Okay? Something that just came was expectations. Sometimes we become frustrated. We become frustrated because we're supposed to be somewhere at a certain time, and there are other people who are expecting us to be there at that time, okay? I myself am very careful about making certain agreements, about everything. I kind of preface with, if it be God's will, right? You're gonna go bowling tonight. Well, I plan to bowl if it is God's will. What does that mean? It means I will be there if it is within my power to control the situation, to have that come to fruition. Because I know that I don't control entirely the situations or occurrences that are brought into my life. It is part of this collective experience. And kind of like pinballs in a pinball game, we're bouncing off of and being affected by choices and decisions, etc., 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 of others that we have agreed to have this experience with. And not even just in our individual personal lives, but as a whole of individuals on this planet, sharing this planetary space and even beyond. If the day, when the day, let's hope, when the day comes that we are in communication with our brothers and sisters from other planets, and there are, we then are having the collective experience with them also. And even now we are, because there are influences that we may be unaware of, but they still exist. We're just not aware of them. So it is a collective experience, and we are tied together, and we are, in a sense, bound to each other. When we come to this greater understanding that everything we do has an effect on everyone else, and it's true, everyone else, there is great responsibility, even if we don't know that our choices are affecting everyone else. There is great responsibility in having and agreeing to this human experience. And once we are aware that everything we do, say, and think affects others, that responsibility then says, be mindful. Be mindful of the energy. Be mindful of the influence you are putting out into the world. The easiest way to do that is to constantly be in alignment with Christ or with love. I have to this date found nothing that is better at breaking down, nothing better at breaking down the human or this worldly programming than A Course in Miracles. I can't recommend any text as strongly as I can A Course in Miracles, because it does break down, it completely breaks down the story that is playing here, and it is a story. If we align with Christ constantly, something's going on. If we align with Christ constantly, that is all we can do to ensure the best possible outcome. It does not mean that experiences will cease to come into our lives that could be deemed by someone as unpleasant or unwanted. But when we align with Christ, we no longer judge the experiences and accept them as happening and nothing more. It is something that is occurring. And then we choose what we want to do with it. That is all for now. And peace and love. May you be blessed.